Hey everyone, Stephanie here with Wellness Wednesdays with Stephanie, and I'm about to start recording Awakened Living. This is my newest book that I published in March. It's Awakened Living, a holistic journey to mind, body, spirit balance. This is my work that I actually publish as a blog on my website, but now I've curated a lot of those blogs and turned it into a book. So it is very much about mind, body, and spirit balance. As Bra, I'm all about balance. So this is something that's very important to me. So when I started writing this and realizing that I was really going on a theme, my biggest theme here is self-healing mastery because I've been my own on my own healing journey. So this is very it's important to you, it's important to me, it's important to the world. I believe that we can all help each other be healthier. And so I started the Wellness Wednesdays with Stephanie podcast because I really just felt that there's so much wisdom to share, and not just from me, from other healers. So if you follow my podcast on YouTube, you'll find interviews with other wellness practitioners, as well as videos that I made for your benefit so that you can learn from my mistakes and from my success of how I've healed myself. So sit tight. I've got some really amazing things in store for you as I record Awakened Living for Audible. So I invite you in, get cozy, and grab a cup of coffee or tea. Sit tight, and I invite you in to learn some really phenomenal wisdom about wellness, about health, and how to heal. Introduction. Healing and spiritual awakening are not about perfection. They're about alignment. This book is not meant to be a checklist of things to achieve, but rather an invitation to live these teachings. Whether you take small, mindful steps or make bold changes, the key is intentionality. As you move forward, remember that balance is not something you find, it's something you create. May you step into your most authentic self, honor your body, expand your mind, and embrace the infinite love within your spirit. My professional and personal journey into holistic health and spiritual practice. My path to wellness and empowerment. My professional and personal journey into holistic health, spiritual practice, and intuitive business coaching has been an evolution marked by curiosity, deep study, and the desire to create positive change. Over the years, I've committed myself to understanding and integrating diverse healing and wellness philosophies to build a practice that serves others fully, nurturing both their personal and professional lives. Holistic health studies, a foundation of wellness. My early studies in holistic health provided a broad understanding of wellness that goes beyond the physical body, from traditional practice to modern approaches. I immersed myself in understanding how mind, body, and spirit interact and how our mental and emotional health influences physical health. Holistic health is a multidimensional approach to well being, focusing on the interconnectedness of lifestyle, mindset, environment, and spirit. This understanding continues to be the foundation of my work, and I apply it to my consultations, group workshops, and wellness events. The power of plant-based nutrition. Plant-based nutrition was a natural step in my holistic education. I've always believed that food is medicine, and studying plant-based nutrition reinforced that understanding. Learning about the benefits of eating, from improved energy levels to reduced inflammation and enhanced longevity, has been transformative for my own life and my work with clients. In workshops and coaching sessions, I teach clients to make mindful dietary choices, understanding that what we eat directly impacts our overall wellness. By embracing a plant-based diet, I believe we not only enhance our health, but also contribute to the well-being of the planet, as it encourages a sustainable and compassionate way of living. Intuitive business coaching, fostering alignment in professional life. Integrating my spiritual practices with business coaching has given rise to a unique approach I call intuitive business coaching. My clients often face challenges like low self-esteem, fears, and limiting beliefs, especially those new to entrepreneurship. Through intuitive coaching, I guide them to tap into their inner wisdom and remove obstacles in their path to success. I teach that business is a form of energy exchange. When entrepreneurs align their values with their business strategies, their work becomes an authentic expression of themselves. With intuitive business coaching, my goal is to help clients find confidence, clarity, and purpose in their professional lives, creating businesses that reflect their unique passions and values. Studying Buddhism, embracing compassion and mindfulness. Buddhism has been an anchor in my spiritual journey. Its teachings on mindfulness, compassion, and the nature of suffering have influenced both my personal life and my approach to wellness. In particular, I resonate with the Bodhisattva ideal, the aspiration to attain enlightenment not only for oneself, but also for the benefit of all beings. The Bodhisattva path teaches us to act with compassion, offering support to others on their journey toward peace and self-awareness. This perspective informs my work, as I believe that wellness and empowerment are not just personal goals, but interconnected with the wellness of the collective. The practice of Raja Yoga and the Eightfold Path. Raja Yoga, or the Royal Path, is a practice close to my heart, based in Patanjali's Eightfold Path. Raja Yoga is a system for achieving self-mastery and inner peace. The Eightfold Path offers steps toward ethical living, disciplined practice, and deep meditation, which together create a foundation for personal transformation. My Raja Yoga practice has taught me the importance of balance between effort and surrender. I became a 200-hour registered yoga teacher in 2014 and have taught hundreds of students the asanas, or yoga poses. In 2020, I created a Raja Yoga group to explore the transformational teachings of the Eightfold Path with fellow teachers. By incorporating these spiritual principles, I guide all of my clients toward mindful living and self-discipline in a way that supports their holistic goals, whether in wellness or business. Christ consciousness and A Course in Miracles, a path to forgiveness and love. My study of Christ consciousness and A Course in Miracles has been a deeply transformative aspect of my spiritual practice. Christ consciousness speaks to the presence of divine love and forgiveness that resides within each of us, encouraging us to live from a place of unconditional love and compassion. A Course in Miracles builds on this by teaching forgiveness as a path to healing and liberation from fear. Through this lens, I've learned to approach my own life and coaching practice with greater empathy, helping clients find freedom from self-judgment and limiting beliefs. I believe that embracing forgiveness and choosing love over fear are powerful tools for personal and collective transformation, aligning us with our higher selves and our true purpose. Integrating spiritual practice with professional service. The journey of study and practice has come full circle in my work today. Each piece, from plant-based nutrition to Buddhism Raja Yoga and intuitive coaching contributes to a holistic approach that addresses every aspect of human experience. Through the Integrative Wellness Collective, my consulting work and wellness events, I'm able to offer support to individuals and groups, helping them to reconnect with themselves and live more consciously in every area of life. Whether through Akashic Records readings, Reiki sessions, or business coaching, my intention is to empower people to unlock their potential, embrace their unique gifts, and cultivate well-being in both their personal and professional lives. Holistic health and spirituality have shown me that true wellness is not just the absence of illness, but a harmonious state of being. My journey is ongoing, and I am deeply grateful to share what I have learned with others who seek to create lives of purpose, joy, and alignment. Chapter 1: The Journey of Self-Empowerment. True empowerment begins with self-awareness. It is the process of reclaiming your inner strength, stepping beyond fear, and embracing your highest potential. In this chapter, we explore what it means to navigate suffering, release resistance, and cultivate a deep sense of personal agency. Through mindful intention, you can shift from victimhood to creator, choosing how you engage with life's challenges and opportunities. The power of self-empowerment, a journey to healing and awakening. There was a time in my life when I wasn't solution-oriented, when shame and guilt kept me stuck in a cycle of self-defeat. The weight of that darkness felt inescapable, and for a long while it was. But in the depths of those moments, my spirit guides patiently nudged me toward awakening. Slowly, I began to see the truth about myself, my life, and the path forward. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It is a spiral, an ever unfolding journey. We revisit our past from new heights of consciousness, each time gaining fresh perspective and healing wounds we once thought were permanent. It was through this spiral that I began to understand a powerful truth. I hold the power to heal myself. Discovering the power within. The journey of self-healing is not easy, but it is the most worthwhile path I have ever taken. For years, I've leaned into healing modalities, practiced yoga and meditation, and embraced the energy of Reiki for regular self-healing. Chakra balancing became a cornerstone of my practice, a gentle yet profound way to restore harmony within myself. The spiritual and philosophical teachings of yoga became my foundation. Deepak Chopra's The 7 Spiritual Laws of Yoga offered me clarity and insight, ultimately guiding me to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. The wisdom embedded in these ancient texts not only held me together during difficult times, but also gifted me with the emotional depth and a sense of purpose. Yoga philosophy illuminated spiritual truths that I continue to carry with me as I walk the path toward enlightenment. From understanding to embodiment. However, it wasn't simply intellectual understanding that empowered me. Self-empowerment requires embodiment, bringing what you know into how you live, think, and act. Journaling became a lifeline, a space to reflect, question, and explore my inner world. Through self-inquiry and deep reflection, I began to shift my mindset and align my life with the change I wanted to see. Visions of my future, a glimpse into what could be, were also a powerful motivator. As I developed my psychic abilities, these visions became beacons of hope, inspiring me to persevere even when the path ahead felt uncertain. Power of choice. At the heart of this journey lies a fundamental truth. Life is about choices. Who we become is a direct result of the choices we make and the mindset we nurture. If your mindset is rooted in pain, suffering, self-doubt, and shame, life will reflect those same energies back to you. But the moment you choose to shift your mindset to embrace self-healing, love, gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness, you open the door to profound transformation. Healing begins with that choice. It is not easy, but it's worth it. Embracing self-healing. Through this journey, I have learned that self-empowerment is not about perfection or a final destination. It's about awakening to the truth of who you are and recognizing that the infinite potential within you. It is about committing to yourself, even on the days when it feels impossible. As I reflect on my path, I am deeply grateful for the practices and philosophies that have guided me. Reiki, yoga, meditation, and journaling have been the tools of my transformation, helping me align with my highest self. And yet, the true power lies not in the tools, but in the choices I've made to heal, grow, and evolve. If you find yourself feeling stuck or unsure of where to begin, know this: you are capable of incredible transformation. The journey starts with one choice, one step, the moment, one moment of courage. Embrace it. You are more powerful than you realize, and your path to self-empowerment is waiting for you. Life is a spiral, unfolding journey of healing and growth. Every choice you make has the power to elevate your consciousness and align you with the life you deserve. When you choose self-healing, love, and gratitude, you step into the fullness of your power and open the door to a brighter future. You are the creator of your reality. Trust in your ability to heal, grow, and transform, and watch as life unfolds in ways you never imagined possible. Releasing resistance, a journey through suffering, healing, and growth. Buddha taught us all of life is suffering. At first glance, this might seem disheartening, but it's far from a statement of despair. It is a compassionate observation that points to the root of our struggles: resistance. Resistance to change, resistance to pain, resistance to what we don't want to experience. My own journey has led me to understand that true healing begins when we stop resisting and open ourselves up to the wisdom life is offering us. For weeks now, life has been hammering this truth into my soul. The patterns of my past traumas, the echoes of my inner child's cries, and the shadows I once avoided all beckon for my attention. I've come to see these challenges not as punishment, but as invitations for growth. Shadow work and inner child healing, often spoke of in therapy, align closely with the spiritual wisdom I found in my Buddhist training and my practice of yoga. Both paths encourage us to face what is, to sit with our suffering, and to release the grip of resistance that binds us to it. The dance of resistance and attraction. What we resist persists. This simple truth has unraveled countless knots in my heart. Resistance doesn't repel what we fear, it strengthens its presence. My emotional traumas, the pain I once thought was inflicted upon me, were, in part, energies I had unknowingly attracted through my resistance. When I refused to look at my pain, it grew louder. When I clung to my idea of how my life should be, life pushed back harder. Just yesterday, I sat in meditation and clarity revealed itself. I saw my resistance not as an enemy, but as a teacher. This shift in perspective was transformative. I realized that resistance itself is suffering, a refusal to accept the moment as it is. When we embrace what is, even the painful parts, we create space for healing and growth. The path of mindful healing. In my Buddhist training, the Noble Eightfold Path serves as a guiding light for overcoming suffering and finding liberation. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These practices are more than moral guidelines. They are tools for inner transformation. Mindfulness in particular has been my anchor. Through meditation and journaling, I observe my thoughts and emotions without judgment. I practice pranayama, the art of breath control, to calm my nervous system and create harmony between my body and mind. On days when chronic pain feels overwhelming, yoga and gentle movement remind me of the resilience within. These practices are not about escaping suffering, but meeting it with grace and gratitude. Ashtanga Yoga, a path to release. As a yogi, I often turn to the wisdom of Patanjali's eight-limb path, which mirrors much of the Buddhist eightfold path. The yamas, or ethical restraints, and the niyamas, or observances, encourage me to live life with integrity and self-discipline. Asana, or physical postures, and pranayama, breathwork, connect me to my body and breath, while pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, and dharana, concentration, deepen my inner focus. These practices guide me toward dhyana, meditation, and ultimately samadhi, liberation. Ashtanga Yoga, with its disciplines and flowing sequence, teaches me to move with intention and awareness. It reminds me that resistance can manifest physically as tension and stiffness, just as it does emotionally. With each breath and posture, I learn to release the resistance held in my body, creating a pathway for healing on all levels. Healing for the collective. This journey of self-healing is not just for me. It ripples out to my family, friends, clients, and the world. By sharing my vulnerability and insights, I hope to be a mirror for others. Healing is not insurmountable. It is a choice to press into the discomfort and allow life to teach us. Buddha's wisdom and the teachings of yoga converge on one truth: acceptance is the key to freedom. When we release resistance, we step into a higher consciousness where suffering transforms into growth. Acceptance does not mean passive resignation. It's an active embrace of life as it is, with grace and gratitude. As I continue on this path, I invite you to reflect on your own journey. Where are you resisting? What truths are calling for your attention? In walking this path, healing ourselves for the collective good and awakening to the magic of life's unfolding. Finding resilience in work-life balance, my journey. I used to believe that work-life balance was a myth, especially as an entrepreneur. My days were consumed by an endless cycle of emails, meetings, and deadlines, and I rarely carved out time for myself. If I wasn't working, I felt guilty. If I took a break, I worried about what I was missing. It wasn't until I hit a breaking point, exhausted, overwhelmed, and questioning everything, that I realized something had to change. Through trial, error, and some hard lessons, I found a way to navigate work and life with more ease and presence and intention. I'm still a work in progress, but here's what I've learned about resilience in work-life balance. Learning to manage stress before it manages you. I remember one particularly stressful day when I had 3 back-to-back meetings, a growing to-do list, and no time to breathe. By the end of the day, I was running on fumes. My body ached, my mind was racing, and I felt completely drained. That was the moment I realized stress wasn't just a mental burden, it was a physical one too. Now I make stress management a daily priority. Simple things like deep breathing before a meeting, taking 5 minutes to stretch, or walking outside help me reset. Meditation has been a game changer, even if it's just a few minutes of stillness between tasks. How I make it work. I schedule self-care time on my calendar, just like an important meeting. I practice mindfulness, whether it's being fully present while sipping my morning tea or taking deep breaths between calls. I remind myself that stress is inevitable, but my response to it is a choice. Time management, the art of working smarter, not harder. I used to believe that being busy meant I was being productive. The reality, I was spinning my wheels, working long hours without making meaningful progress. It wasn't until I started tracking my time that I realized how much of my day was lost to distractions. One small but powerful shift changed everything. Writing out my top 3 priorities each morning. Instead of drowning in an endless to-do list, I focus on what truly matters. Breaking projects into smaller tasks also helps me avoid overwhelm. What's worked for me? I keep a notepad for business activities and document what I've accomplished daily. I batch similar tasks together, email, content creation, and client calls to stay focused. I've learned to set boundaries like designating work hours and unplugging in the evenings. Staying motivated through ups and downs. Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster. Some days I feel unstoppable. Other days I question everything. There was a time when self-doubt almost made me quit. But I've learned that motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. One of the most powerful things I've done is align my work with my values. When I focus on my mission, helping others through wellness, personal growth, and business coaching, it's more meaningful. Surrounding myself with supportive people has also made a huge difference. How I stay motivated. I set goals that truly inspire me, not just what I should do. I celebrate small wins. Even checking off a task is progress. I remind myself why I started, especially on tough days. Tuning out the noise, the power of focus. We live in a world of constant notifications, endless social media scrolling, and a million things competing for our attention. I used to multitask, thinking it made me more efficient, until I realized it was doing the opposite. Now I practice single tasking. When I write, I turn off notifications. When I'm in a meeting, I give my full attention. Being present has not only improved my work, but it's also deepened my relationships. How I stay focused. I limit multitasking and tackle one thing at a time. I set blocks for deep work, no distractions, no checking my phone. I take breaks when needed. Stepping away helps me return with fresh energy. Setting boundaries and protecting my energy. One of the hardest but most important lessons I've learned is that saying yes to everything means saying no to myself. I used to take on too much, extra projects, last-minute favors, things that weren't aligned with my goals, until I realized it was draining me. Now I'm intentional about where I invest my energy. I've learned that boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about showing up as my best self. How I maintain balance. I say no without guilt when something doesn't align with my priorities. I create work-free zones in my day, whether it's morning quiet time or an evening walk. I remind myself that rest is productive too. Wellness is the foundation for everything. When I'm taking care of myself, everything flows better. My work, my mood, my relationships. But when I neglect sleep, movement, and nourishment. I feel it in every aspect of my life. That's why I prioritize wellness, not as an afterthought, but as a foundation. Some days that means getting outside for fresh air. Other days it means cooking a healthy meal or getting to bed early. What's helped me? Moving daily, even if it's just stretching or a short walk. Eating foods that fuel my body and mind. Creating an evening routine that helps me unwind. The ongoing journey of balance. Work-life balance isn't a destination. It's a daily practice. Some days I feel I have it figured out. Other days I need a reset. But what I've learned is that resilience isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about navigating them with intention, self-compassion, and adaptability. If you struggle to find balance, know that you're not alone. Start small, experiment with what works for you, and remember that it's okay to adjust along the way. Balance looks different for everyone, but the key is to create a life that feels fulfilling, one that allows you to thrive both in your work and your personal life. What's one thing you can do today to bring more balance into your life? The path to self-love, embracing your truth and leading with love. Self-love is not a destination. It's a lifelong practice that begins with self-awareness. The moment we awaken to our true selves, we are often met with resistance from the ego. It clings desperately to its role as protector, whispering the same old fears and doubts, convincing us to remain in the comfort of what we have always known. But here's the truth. The ego is not our enemy. It is merely misinformed. As Louise Hay once said, "You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens." Our limiting beliefs, our fears of unworthiness, and the narratives we have inherited are not reflections of our true essence. Instead, they are survival mechanisms meant to keep us feeling safe, even if that safety comes at the cost of growth and transformation. Silencing the ego to hear the soul. To cultivate self-love every day, we must learn to quiet the noise of the ego. Meditation, mindfulness, and introspection are powerful tools, but the real shift occurs when we acknowledge our true nature. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. This realization was my turning point in my own life in 2024, when I fully embraced the understanding that I am a multidimensional soul, infinite in nature and capable of profound love. Love, however, is not enough on its own. Love without respect, love without self-worth, love without aligned action, these do not sustain us. Love must be an active force, a conscious choice we make every day. It's not something to win or a prize for those who master the art of pleasing others. Too often we believe that if we are desirable enough, agreeable enough, or small enough, we will finally be worthy of love. But true love, the kind that transforms, does not require us to shrink. It asks us to expand. It strips us down to our essence and demands we stand in our own power. Fear of love and the illusion of control. When love has failed us in the past, many of us have done the one thing that has made sense at that time. We closed our hearts. We convinced ourselves that detachment was freedom, that avoiding pain meant we were strong. But in truth, love is not a weakness. As Brené Brown beautifully states, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. When we wall ourselves off from love, we do more than just protect ourselves from pain. We also block ourselves from connection, creativity, and abundance. A closed heart in love is a closed heart in business, leadership, and creation. We cannot lead, we cannot expand, and we cannot truly live from a place of self-abandonment. Love as leadership. Love is not passive, it's an act of leadership. How we love ourselves, how we love others, and how we love the world around us is a direct reflection of how we show up in every area of our lives. The most magnetic souls are not those who chase, but those who attract. They do not demand attention, they radiate presence. They do not cling to control, they surrender to the flow of life, and in doing so, shape everything around them. Love is not enough without boundaries, integrity, and action. We must love ourselves enough to make aligned choices, to walk away from what depletes us, and to cultivate relationships that honor our worth. Love should empower, not diminish. Love should liberate, not confine. Becoming the love you seek. Self-love is not reserved for the holidays or special occasions. It's an everyday practice. It's not something we wait for, it's something we become. Not the kind of love the world has taught us, not the kind we see in romanticized narratives, but the kind that is raw, real, and courageous enough to be seen. Because that kind of love, it never leaves. It does not waver. It does not depend on external validation. It is the foundation of true leadership, of connection, and of a life lived in alignment with our highest selves. As Rumi so wisely said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Break down the walls. Let love move through you and watch as everything in your life transforms. Self-love is a journey that begins with self-awareness. When we first enter into awareness of our true selves, ego fights for your attention, like trying like hell to keep you from your truth. This is no fault of your own. Most of us are struggling with limiting beliefs and lies we accepted about ourselves. In order to protect you, the ego keeps repeating these lies in your mind to keep you safe. Ironically, this is what creates the resistance to truth, cognitive dissonance, and the fear of the unknown. In order to begin the journey of self-love, we must first find a way to silence the ego. I have studied meditation for decades, which does help. However, it wasn't until I acknowledged my truth that I am a spirit having a physical journey. I am a multidimensional being with an infinite soul. In fact, all humans are. This was a full life transformation in 2024. That concludes chapter 1. Thank you for joining me today for the reading of the Awakened Living book. I'm very excited to be sharing this knowledge with you, and I appreciate you all. Blessings. Namaste.